live. Today is Quitters Friday. Yes, you are allowed to quit. Now, joke aside, what does it mean, Quitters Friday? I has just recently learned that, well, I always knew that New Year's resolutions are getting out of the window very quickly. Uh, the first couple of weeks into the year. But I did not know that there was an actual day dedicated to that called Quitters Friday. And usually between 9 and 10 days is when people, say, oh, I forget about my New Year's resolutions. And I know it for myself. Too often things have been, put to the wayside. However, I stopped making New Year's resolutions. But what I do is I'm setting intentions for the year. I have a word of the year or a phrase of the year because I think this is important to keep your focus to where you want to go. So, welcome to Quitters Friday. So, if you quit your New Year's resolution, then I invite you now that you had that behind you to set the intentions for this year, for your life, if you want to do this a little bit further out. But setting intention for a period of time is always good. My intentions for this year is to have a little bit more fun. Don't be too serious about all the different things that hits you, and stop and smell the roses. And I don't know if you're like me, sometimes we forget that there are more important things in life than just working or trying to get somewhere. And by that, I mean, oftentimes we think, oh, I do have to get this program out, especially if you are an entrepreneur, a solopreneur working for yourself. It's not easy because you got to produce something to get your income, right? However, sometimes we approach it from the wrong angle. And I've been there too. I know how both sides work. Do it the wrong way, doing it the right way. And sometimes we forget, and sometimes it's meshed up. So, what is the wrong way? What is the right way? I don't know. If you have an answer, you can let me know, put it in the chat. I would say the wrong way for me is to just do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. As Albert Einstein said it so wonderfully, so to the point. You're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's insanity. Yes, I couldn't agree more. So, what is the right thing? The right thing is to adjust and to reflect, adjust, and having fun in life. Because if you don't, and sometimes I forget that, and sometimes I'm so focused on the things I wanted to achieve that I got a little bit too serious about it. So, this year's intention is to have more fun. Do you have an intention for this year? Put it in the chat. I would love to hear it. And for those who know me, I started on my big birthday a few years back when I turned 60. Yes, I am that old. I set an intention to do something that scares me a little on my birthday. So I will, first of all, remember that birthday. And second, that keeps me young. That keeps you young if you just do something that is a little bit out of your comfort zone, right? Now, there is something out of my comfort zone, but I didn't wait for my birthday. I have an opportunity this week or this upcoming week I actually no, I am a speaker at the Podfest Expo, and in that capacity, I speak in front of people. And as you know me, as a communication confidence coach, as a former actress, as a director, I have no fear whatsoever to speak in front of people. However, there is one thing that was kind of in the back of my mind. I thought about this for a couple of years already. When I went to the comedy club here in Sarasota, they had a stand-up comedy course or something like that. I thought, oh, that would be so much fun to do sometime. I've never done stand-up comedy, but comedy is always good. And I always challenge myself to something different. However, I haven't done that yet. So when was it? Yesterday or the day before? I was at the town hall meeting that we have with all the speakers for the upcoming Podfest Expo. And then there was mentioned there is an open mic for stand-up comedy. And ooh, there was just something like within me, it's like that was scared, but at the same time, that would be a good challenge for me. So I decided to sign up. I don't know if I get a spot in that stand-up comedy. However, I started thinking about, what can I talk about? Because there are so many things that are really funny when you think about it. And so I just said, okay, I do it. So that's a challenging thing that I started doing at the beginning of the year. And have I quit something yet? Not yet. I haven't really done any New Year's resolutions, except, yeah, this year I'm gonna get back to my health. I'm focusing on my health. I neglected that a little bit because of many different circumstances, and we all have been there. So I told my husband, hey, you know what? Let's get back on track. And there are many things I wanted to do. And I also realize when you get up there, you, in age, I mean, you got to think about your body a little bit differently. And that is what I am doing right now this year without depriving myself. I'm not doing a crazy diet or anything like that. I'm just thinking of being just a little bit healthier. So that's my intention for this year, challenging myself for this year. And the big thing that is coming up is my book release. So next week, Thursday, I will officially release the book, and it's now my book, Gumption, and that is now available for pre-order. And if you want to pre-order Gumption, go to Barnes & Noble, and I will put the link to Barnes & Noble in the chat, but you can go to any of your favorite bookstore, obviously. But you are able to get that. And if you order that book, and I'll tell you why, what I'm doing. So since this is my first live I'm doing here, I'm going to go a little bit more into some detail or backstory. So this is my fourth book that I wrote, and it's a memoir with some of the wisdom that I've accumulated throughout my years here on this planet, that has some great stuff that you can also apply to your own life. There are some funny stories, some sad stories in it, but each story that I share has a point to it, because otherwise, why share a story? There needs to be something you can get out of it besides the entertainment factor. So and Loki, my dog, was just agreeing with me, right? So, okay, Gumption. Gumption is more than courage. Gumption for me is what led me through my life, to keep on going even when everything inside you wants to quit. For me, that's gumption. And all those things I share in my book. Now, with that said, I have gumption to say, you know what? I want to get this book into as many hands as possible. I want to get this on bestseller lists. And with that, I'm going to do a book tour. I have no idea how to do a book tour. I have an idea, but I've never done it before. So all is new. And I know that there's a lot of hustling involved with that, but it's fun. It's not, for me, it's not like, oh, I have to do this because, no, 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 no. I'm not going to do this anymore. The matter of the fact is, I stopped doing a couple things that I've done last year because it didn't give the results that I wanted to see. And obviously, some of the things maybe people didn't even want to have. So, okay, then you change, right? And that's it. You always have to adjust what you do so that you are becoming better in what you do, becoming more successful, becoming your next greater self. And so, with that said, I stopped some of the things that I didn't enjoy, and I'm adjusting and do more of those things that I do enjoy. And I love speaking in front of audiences. So that is on my list for this year, to do more of that. And then obviously going onto the book, doing a book tour and doing book signings. That's fun. Reading some of the stories. And I have to live up to what I'm known for as the storytelling dame from Germany. Because stories are so important. As a former actress and director, I know the power of stories. And I know the power of stories when you have conversations, when you communicate, when you sell something, when you are out in front of people, right? Stories are very powerful because our brains are wired for stories, because this is how we communicated for thousands of years, right? So that's, in a nutshell, what 2026 looks for me. And maybe I was able to inspire you to think a little bit differently, or at least I was able to entertain you, or thought-provoking things that you have not thought of before. Either way, or maybe I bored you to death. you know, Either way, I'm here doing this live and just at least getting out there. And I want to do more lives. I want to do some more of interactions, because last year I did a lot of recordings. I had my podcast on Spotify called The Invisible Stage Daily. Yes, I did daily podcasts. And that was one-sided. I just spoke about a topic, and the invisible stage is very important, because the invisible stage to me means that all the things that we do behind the curtain, yes, that's my wheelhouse. I was an actress for many, many years, director for many, many years. So I use a lot of those metaphors. So behind the curtain means nobody sees any of these, what you do. When we rehearse as performers, right? But also for us as human beings, it's important to work on your own personal growth, work on your skills, and also show up for yourself the best way, not just for someone else, but also for yourself. That helps you develop as your own person to be better and become better. So that's the invisible stage. And when we do this, when we master the moments no one sees, then we can lead the moments everyone remembers. And that was the premise of my podcast. But I got a lot of questions behind the curtain, right? So people messaged me and asked me questions. And then I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great to do more lives where people can interact with me? So I would do that. And even if nobody is watching, especially at the beginning, I'm I know that. I'm aware of that. You start somewhere. When you start something, you start somewhere. When I started my business, my performing arts school, my husband and I in 1994, it's a long time ago, we had that dream that we wanted to have a performing arts school, teaching, acting, dance, music, singing, everything. We had no idea how to start. So we started somewhere. Back then, there was no internet. There was no, these things didn't exist. So we had to hand out flyers. We had no idea, but we did. We just put it into people's mailboxes or on the side of the mailboxes because you cannot really put something in it. But on the side, on the little flag here in the state that comes out, or we handed it out. We left it at places. That's how we started out. You start somewhere. So my invitation to you is start somewhere. If you want to do something this year, if you have a goal, if you want to achieve something, if you want to start a business, if you want to lose weight, if you want to get fit, if you, whatever it is for you, don't be so concerned about the how. The how will show up. It always does. Just start with the why you want to do things. You want to get fitter because you want to feel better. That's your why. You want to move better, or you may have a goal. You know, I remember some years back on one of my birthdays that I did something that challenged me. And that was doing an obstacle course. And there were like 5 levels. So I did 1 and 2 and I was exhausted. But it was so much fun that I said, you know what? I'm going to get a yearly membership so I can go anytime I want to because I want to go through level 5. That was a challenge. And it took me about 6, almost 8 months until I finally completed level 5 because that was hard. So I did that. And this year, last year I did a membership at a Pure Barre, so getting back to the roots of dance because that's what I did for many, many years. And I thought, yeah, it's a little bit harder than when I was 20 or 30 or 40. But I got through that year. But then I also realized, I want to do something that is even more fun. Remember, my intention this year is fun. So I thought today, how about going back to the membership? I now have to drive further, so it's further away. But still, even if I do it once a week, I think it's worth it to just do it because I'm outside and it's fun and it's exercise, but it's not boring. So it's really challenging and fun to climb up those obstacles. All right. I think I spoke enough. Oh my God, it's already 20 minutes. And I don't even know if it's the first time that I'm doing it through my platform that I have here. So I hope it goes out and it's there and it's live. And if not, it's okay too. Anyways, that was my take on Quitters Friday. So I hope you don't quit with what you want to do in your life and for the whole year. You might want to throw out New Year's resolutions because sometimes they're just too rigid. But then start something new. And that's another great thing. Even if you quit something, you can start something new. But here's one piece of advice I want to share with you that I got from the great Napoleon Hill. And if you haven't read any of his books, and even the ones that are being revised in a more modern language, because it's like 100 years old now, the book that he wrote, Think and Grow Rich. And some of the verbiage doesn't fit so well anymore, but the principles are still the same. And one of his principles was what he learned from all those successful people that he interviewed was, okay, let me see if I can get this together. So the successful people make decisions quickly, but change them very, very seldom, or it takes a while for them to change anything. Make a decision and then go for it. So if you say, this is what I want to do, don't quit quickly, but adjust. All right? If you see something is not working, adjust, but don't quit too quickly. There's another quote that I love and I live by. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. How about that for Quitters Friday? All right. So if you quit something, it's okay. I'm not saying you have to stay the course. But what I'm referring to is sometimes we say something, so, oh, it's not working after 1 day or 2 or 3 or 9. I quit. No, just sit back and relax and reflect and ask yourself, why is it not working? Maybe it was not the right thing. Maybe I said something because my spouse or my friend or my family says, you should do this. No, you shouldn't do anything that you didn't want to do or don't want to do. So sometimes we've been maybe pushed by other people for something we really don't want. And then we can quit that and start something new. Okay, I think it's important if I share this with you, because when I first started out in the business world or working world, job world, I was a youngster. I was like 16 when I started working. I had no idea what to do. So I listened to the well-meant advice of my dad, who said, Sabine, find a job with a good salary and benefits so you can pay your bills. Yeah, okay, that's what I did. But I was unhappy. What I really wanted is acting, singing, dancing. And once I was done, I started working a little bit in that field, but I knew it was not me. So I quit and started what I wanted to do. And that's okay. All right? So quitting is okay, but make sure you don't do this on a regular basis. Get the clarity that you want. And if you need some help on that part, maybe you want to bounce something off, you want to speak with someone, you can always contact me. Just go to talktosabine.com and schedule a time on my calendar. And I'm happy to guide you in that direction. Okay, but now I'm really stopping because it's already, wow, almost 25 minutes I talked here. You see, I can talk and it's fun. Anyhow, that was my Friday message, and I would love to hear from you. Put something in the chat or schedule a time on my calendar. Until I see you again, always remember, follow your heart. Follow your heart and serve from the heart. Because when you do that, you can live the life you imagine.